It's going to be your first fight in jail. Let it be theatrical. Automatopoeia, boom, pow, bam, wow. Do your stuff. You need your opening line, what you going to say to him when you first walk up. And I automatically was thinking in my head, just say to him, pussy, you better get your bones strong before you come try to fuck with me. And I was like, no. And I'm sitting, I'm thinking of my shit. I'm like, how you gonna do it? Is you gonna throw something? You got a towel. You gonna throw the towel at him for you run in. So I'm thinking of all of my little tricks and my little stuff that's gonna make the crowd, because everybody know that this is getting ready to happen at 8 a.m. And I gotta put on a show, because I'm an entertainer. I had to put on a show, and this is my first jail fight, and I got to be ready to bang. Right? So, it's unfortunate. The morning time comes, and everybody knows when in the morning time you get your breakfast. Everybody gets breakfast. Who's not going to eat their breakfast? Everybody gets breakfast in jail. Everybody eats their breakfast. Even if he did say 8 a.m., he did say 8 a.m. But in my head, I'm thinking, well, who's not going to eat their breakfast first? And you know what we got today? We got donuts and oatmeal with that good little milk. I want that oatmeal, and I need that milk and that donut. Yeah. So I'm thinking when they let us all out, I went downstairs to get my breakfast. I said, I'm starving and my stomach is touching my ass. I don't mind fighting now, but let me put something in my stomach. Let me get my belly swole. You know? I would go get my breakfast, and I thought that he was possibly going to wait and we can do it later, after. Yeah. So I'm carrying my breakfast upstairs to go back to my cell so I can eat real quick and maybe shadow box a little bit. Isn't he, as I'm walking up to go back in my cell, isn't he standing right at my door with his tennis shoes on? And he seen me walking up, and he pointed and he said, "You, let's go." When I tell y'all something about, because I pay attention to my surroundings, something about him inviting me into my own place where I stay at, where I sleep at for a brawl, it kind of shifted my spirit a little bit. It made me a little scared. Just a little bit. It made me scared. I wouldn't lie to y'all. It made me scared because that right there, how he pointed and he did like that into my cell, and I was second guessing it. So I kind of was looking to see if my homie was going to come behind me to possibly come in here and jump in with me. Yeah, that would have been fun. So he could come in here, come jumping with me. You get his legs while I pound on his head. Of course not. Of course he don't come in there with me. So I get in movie mode. He pointed at me and said, "Come in here." I said, "Oh, pussy, you ain't saying nothing." I said, "What?" Yeah. Oh, I came right up in the cell. Oh, hey, it's time to get all of that scary stuff up out of the system. What's happening? You ain't inviting me into my spot. Ain't nobody inviting me into my spot like you can give me some work where I sleep. I go in there. I'm still saying as I'm walking, "Pussy, yeah. I'm putting my oatmeal and my stuff down. What's up?" So I set my oatmeal and my donut down, and I covered it with a tissue. I said, "Hold on." And I covered it with a tissue so I can eat my shit as soon as I'm done. I said, "Oh, yeah, supposed to set my stuff down." I said, "Oh, you not saying?" I said, "What's up?" So what's up? So, I'm not gonna lie. His first couple hits that he got on me, I don't know. I just don't know. When I seen him talking to my friend, when I seen him like saying stuff to my friend, he was not that big yesterday. Like, I don't know if it's them fat ass Jordans that he got on. You was not that big yesterday when you was talking to him, when you was saying all of that stuff to my homeboy. So when he got in front of me, I said, "Oh, well, wait, get this huge." I ran and we got to doing our things. He hit me with some sharp stuff. The first 3 hits he got, it shocked me. He hit me all in my body, in my head, and I felt it. Boom, 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 and I felt it. But one thing about me, I'm a strategic fighter. I saw how he was throwing his lefts and he was throwing his rights, and I adjusted. I came up under him. One thing he didn't know about me, where he messed up at, was you should have took them clothes off. Maybe you should came here undressed, because once I got me a good hold of that t-shirt and I locked it in behind his neck and I was able to bring him down, this Bright start going to work. Kadoogie, kadoogie, kadoogie. I was throwing overhands, rights, uppercuts, rights. And I was getting in there. When I tell you I was doing my stuff, I was getting in there and I felt it. And I got a good hold. I start throwing some knees in there. I start doing my stuff. He was banging too. He was getting me a little bit. He definitely was getting me. And we was in there just doing our thing. We was in there doing what we had to do. Yeah. And my friend that I was locked up with, he ended up coming in there to break it up. After a little while, they broke it up and they separated us. And I didn't even have no words. Usually I have words after, but I felt like I got kind of lucky because I was able to get a hold of him. And I was like, let me not tempt him no more. So when he was walking out, and because I think he called me the P word when he walked out, he was like, yeah, pussy. And I let that slide. Usually I'd had some words to say or some extra shit to say. I went over there and sat at that table and took a bite at that donut and sipped on that milk. And I said,